I was discussing with another educator this morning, a lot of times we're not getting their why. We're not getting why they're doing this, but yet we hold our educators to such high standards and they need to do this and they need to do that, but we don't hold our government to the same standard. And especially our local government that affects us the most. They really need to explain their why, why they're making this decision, not just we're making this decision and that's it and that's what's going to happen.
What does it really take to run for local office? On The Candidate, we're pulling back the curtain on the messy, expensive, and sometimes bizarre world of local politics. Join us as we share the unfiltered truth about what happens before you see those campaign signs pop up in your neighborhood. We're following serial entrepreneur Dave Kerpen as he dives headfirst into the world of local politics. Ready for a change in the world? This is your opportunity to be the candidate.
Lisa McArdle is a longtime educator, advocate, and proud Williston Park resident running for town council in North Hempstead's District 3. I'm going to talk to her in just a moment, but first, more important than anything is the fact that she is, in fact, a registered Republican running on the Democratic line on a slate with me. Welcome to The Candidate. Lisa!
Hello.
Great to see you. How are you?
Very good.
So,
Thank you for having me.
So I gave your a brief version of your bio, but Lisa has been working to support students with special needs, mental health programs, helping protect small businesses, and in the last several weeks, Lisa and I have been literally on the campaign trail together, and so I am proud to call you a friend now. What is this? This is obviously your first campaign, like it's for mine and Jason's. What's the experience been like so far?
It has definitely been a learning curve. I have a master's in history and used to teach about elections and campaigns, but now I'm really getting to know the nitty-gritty of it all. It has been very interesting being a registered Republican running with the Democrats. A lot of people ask me why. And the reason is because we have a lot of similarities than differences. And I really feel that we need to, in this kind of environment that we're in right now, we really need to bridge the divide and we need to work together to have better communities. And that's my main goal of my campaign.
Yeah, I've been talking on the podcast about how local politics should not be so partisan and how crazy it is that it's so partisan. And you and I'm a registered Democrat, you're a registered Republican, but we're literally in this together to make our town a better place, to make our
Right.
town better for our residents, to make our town better for small business owners, to make our town better and safer and more affordable for everyone. So, like, why should the party that you're registered with matter so much, right?
I agree with you 100% because we have, even you and I are different religions, and yet, we agree on so much. And it's absolutely ridiculous that our communities don't reflect that anymore. And, that was one of the reasons why I moved out here from Queens, because I was used to that kind of diversity and getting along with all of my neighbors. And I had that here, but it started to disintegrate. And that really makes me worry, especially, for my children. My children are older than yours to come back to the neighborhood that they grew up in. And, that's a very Queens term, the neighborhood, but, to come back and to contribute to the community that raised them. My mother lives in this area as well. And, she worked really, really hard for her pension with 11.99, and she deserves to have a quality of life that she worked for.
Yeah. And by the way, I love also when you said the neighborhood, you got really into the full accent, which is great.
I
We have to
know.
get you next time you hang out with my wife, Carrie. You have to get her to talk in her full Queens accent because it's really It's really solid. We talked about what we have in common. I was a teacher for just a few years, but you've spent decades as an educator, Lisa. What
Mm-hmm.
lessons from the classroom do you think our town government needs most right now?
In all honesty, I was just discussing this morning. It's just that when the transparency that they need to have, they need to understand that they're educating their constituents, and they need to be clear and transparent on what is going on. And as I was discussing with another educator this morning, a lot of times we're not getting their why. We're not getting why they're doing this, but yet we hold our educators to such high standards, and they need to do this and they need to do that, but we don't hold our government to the same standard. And especially our local government that affects us the most. They really need to explain their why, why they're making this decision, not just we're making this decision and that's it and that's what's going to happen. So I feel just being an educator, they always discuss the why. It's the why in the lesson, it's the goal of the lesson. And our local government really needs to take a lesson from that and understand that they are educating their constituents and they really need to be clear and transparent about what's going on in our community.
Yeah. Transparency, of course, one of the principles of likable leadership that I have written a lot about and I'm writing about. So I'm glad to hear you mentioned that. Another thing that we have in common is our passion for and interest in mental health. I see mental health, even after so much education and awareness, is still like this forgotten / stigmatized issue in so many cases. Tell me a little bit about why mental health matters to you and what you think the town of North Hempstead could be doing better right now.
So I am not shy about the fact that mental health is a very important issue within my family. My father suffered immensely from mental health issues. And I have seen where if you don't take care of your mental health, it'll take care of you. And we need to educate people about mental health. We need to educate our young about how to get resources for their mental health. But especially during COVID, we had such an issue with being able to get people the mental health resources that they need. And that's when I noticed that we really didn't have anything in this area for people to reach out with mental health issues, for the hospitals, the resources that they had, because Northwell has a really great program, but people didn't know that they could access that program. And it's not when you look on the websites and you're somebody who is trying to support somebody with mental health issues, we don't have as much availability and or resources and or direction for people in our area with mental health issues. And it's very, very important, especially with everything that had happened with COVID. And now that we're more aware and we're more educated, like you said, about mental health, that we get the right resources, because people with mental health issues are contributors to our society. They're your brothers, they're your sisters, they're, your cousins, your neighbors, they're taxpayers, they're people who go to work, they're people who do contribute, and you want them to live the best life ever. So you want to support them and you want them to be able to achieve in life. And right now, I feel that this is an area that we really need to work on.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we bonded over that. We had Jason on the show earlier, and I was talking about how Jason and I have gotten so close so quickly because of being on the campaign trail. And I remember the first time, we met over the phone, Lisa, and that was one of the first things I felt really connected with you about, because, of course, similar to you, I'm totally open and transparent about my father's lifelong battle with mental health and bipolar disorder, and I've really witnessed how much it can impact families and how important it is to bring the right resources to folks who are struggling with mental health issues. So thank you for your continued advocacy on that. And along the lines of bonding, it's hard for you to compete with Jason because we're both town wide, so we're both spending tons of time together, going from event to event. But you're a close second. So I've seen Lisa on the campaign trail numerous times already, and personally, and I've talked about this on the podcast, of course, Lisa. It is a grind. Oh my goodness, going to all these events, it is. It's no joke. It is really, really serious business. In fact, I think that this is, and I've done some really hard things in my career. I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my career. It is hard work. Of course, I'm up for the challenge, but it is hard work. How about you? How are you managing campaigning? How do you stay grounded? How do you stay energized? How do you stay focused?
So yeah, it's 24/7, and you have to think of things constantly, but I'm a team player, as you well know, and it's just I'm very lucky because I have my family that energizes me. My family is very much backing me up, and on days where I may lose my energy, my husband and my sister really pump me up, and they're just like, what are we going to do next? And what are we doing now? And where are we in this? And they really help ground me. But also, they realize that some days I just need a break. And, a couple of hours a day, I need to focus and I need to concentrate on the other aspects of my life because there's a lot of them. And it also really helps that my husband's a musician and
Nice.
I get to go and see him perform. And those are my 2 hours to relax and not be, well, it's not true that I'm not on the campaign trail because somehow it always comes up, whether I'm in Nassau or I'm in Suffolk.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice to have that downtime with my family, and they're the reason I'm really doing all of this. My children, my family, my neighbors, the people that I love, and believe me, I do have neighbors that I love. My best friend in the whole entire world was my neighbor that lived 2 doors down from here. And, that I still want that kind of community for our future. So I try to stay future focused, but stay grounded in the now and, just keep moving forward and moving forward.
I love that, and that's actually a perfect segue for my next question, Lisa. Like speaking of the future, picture North Hempstead 5 years from now. How is the town different thanks to you, or maybe thanks to you and me, and the team as we've 5 years from now, hopefully still in office and making a
Yeah.
difference.
Well, I really think that we'll see growth. Like in my educational career, they talk about learning as growth. And I really think we need that kind of growth here. And, I want to see the small businesses thriving in my neighborhood. And I want to see that community and I want to see, the traffic on the street and being able to walk past somebody and smile at them. Unfortunately, with all of these small businesses closed in my area, we don't have that anymore. We don't really, there's people don't realize the impact of these small businesses closing down, and that we really need to support them. So in 5 years, I see that open. In 5 years, I see more community events that bring us together. I see our young population, and when I say young, I mean my kids that are in their 20s, coming back and thriving and really being a part of the community again because right now it's kind of hard for them.
It's
So, I really see a very bright future going forward involving community, small businesses, and our neighbors.
Yeah, I agree with you. And right now, I just had a daughter graduate from college, and she can't afford to move back into this town. I mean, she can move in with me,
Yes.
but that's not happening. We need to make North Hempstead a place where our young people can afford it, can afford to live. Okay, I have a few rapid fire questions for you, Lisa, as we go to the speed round here. What's your favorite place to hang out in North Hempstead?
My favorite place to hang out in North Hempstead would have to be Bar Beach.
Okay, nice. Well,
Um, I always adored taking my kids there. I like going there, just sitting and relaxing.
Who do you call for advice when you need advice?
My stepfather. I don't know what I would do without him. He's been a great influence in my life. And whether it comes to hanging a picture or asking him a question about a decision that I made, I ask him.
Cool. Politics would be better if.
Politics would be better if people realized that we had a lot more in common than we need to focus on commonality and not the differences. The differences divide us.
Well, that is actually a perfect segue for my final question, because you and I do have quite a bit in common. We may be a registered Republican and a registered Democrat. We may be a Christian and Jewish, respectively, but we both believe in the power of mental health and small business and diversity and unifying each other. We believe in so many things, and that's why I'm so excited to run with you here on my slate for North Hempstead Town Government. But there is one more thing that we have that is different that we need to talk about. It's a very, very important difference. And, Lisa, you have quite a bit of courage, quite a bit of chutzpah, as my people say, to not only have this difference, but to highlight it right here on the podcast for the world to see. Is that Don Mattingly behind you? I believe it is. And tell us how in the world you can justify living in Long Island, where it is Mets territory, and rooting for the evil empire of the New York Yankees, Lisa.
Oh, we both know that it's 1-2 with the Mets, and as far as the money that they have backing each other. So they're both evil empires, and you just stole one of our players, so don't even get me started. But I just was, my family, my stepfather, my father, my sisters, they're all Met fans. And I guess I just needed to be different. And one of my friends' mothers was a travel agent for the Yankees, and I got to go up there a lot in the late 80s and 90s and just became a huge fan. And I love him. I love Don Mattingly. He's amazing. And I'm also a Giants fan. So I just really feel the two go well together. If you notice my blue room that I'm in. But I'm a diehard fan.
Well, I respect the fandom. I do. I should remind you that while Don Manning was a very good player, he never won a championship. And we are hoping that Juan Soto wins us a championship this year, but we shall see. The real championship is coming up in November, and I look forward to working hard with you throughout the summer and winning together. Lisa McArdle, running for District 3 in the town of North Hempstead. Thank you so much for joining us on The Candidate.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Everyone else, thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, review, share. Appreciate you very much, and we'll see you next time on The Candidate.
Paid for by the Friends of Dave Kerpen.
Thanks for going behind the scenes with us on The Candidate. If you enjoyed getting the real story about running for office, take a moment to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Your support means the world to us. See you next time.